My name is Commander Psykit.
And I'm Commander Mal for the win from Flight Assist.
And you're listening to Loose Screws.
07, Commanders.
Welcome, everyone, to the Loose Screws podcast, the screwiest and loosest podcast in all of the galaxy. I'm Commander JN Trax, and it is Thursday, the 19th of November, and my RTX 3080 should be arriving any minute. So I'm
good
thrilled.
For you.
Tonight, I have a small crowd with me. I have Commander Chig. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. NL Hate. Hi. Nurgle's here.
Greetings and salutations.
And Commander Dubs back from somewhere.
Hello.
Welcome. So there's a ton of stuff to talk about tonight. And considering that, I'm going to waste a bunch of time talking to you about how your week was. What did you do this week, Chig?
I did the community goal thingamajigger, but I think we're talking about that later, so I wait to talk about that then. And other than that, in game, I didn't do much. I thought about going mining at one point and then didn't, and then I was going to kill some Thargoids, and I did a little bit of that, and then I was gonna go out to the crystal shard place because for some reason I was out of arsenic, and then I realized that I had like 130 of the grade 4 mat in that column, so all I did is just use some of that, so I was full up on arsenic again. So I don't know.
Trading up?
I did no trading down. Arsenic is only a grade 2.
Oh,
so
arsenic.
I went from the high one down to the other, and I'm like, why am I out of arsenic? Then I realized that that's one of the things for synthesizing advanced missile launcher ammo thing. So that's how I ran out of that, which was just weird because you know how I match shame people and I was out of something. So other than that, I had nothing. Real life, still working on the bathroom. The vanity and sink that wasn't supposed to show up for another 2 weeks showed up today. So I think my wife would have preferred me installing that tonight than doing this. But you know, I got to be here.
We appreciate it.
That's it. So whoever's next.
Cool. Hey, what's up? Did your kid go to sleep?
Yeah, he's
oh,
golden.
That's awesome.
Golden retriever.
This week I worked on a gamer that
Hello?
What happened?
We lost you there for a
Hate?
second.
what was the last thing
I heard you say your hands were covered in
3070.
What is 3070? Okay, we're having trouble connecting to NL Hate right now, apparently,
had my
so
hands
we're going
on
to
the
check
graphics
that
card.
out. But Nurgle, what's been going on with you this week?
Well, you know, I guess it wasn't enough for everybody else to be doing home renovation, so I joined the club, putting up converting an unused dining room into a workroom and putting up shelves and cabinets, and that's going to be going on for a while. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
In game, done a lot of mining, just past the 6 billion mark, so I guess I have no excuse not to go and buy a fleet carrier now. Yay me!
Yay!
So yeah, I actually had some time to play this week.
All right. Sounds
Manitou
great.
got his carrier yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So another squadron carrier. Nice.
Cool. Dubs, what's been going on? We haven't talked to you in a while. I think you've been very busy with real life stuff, yes?
Yeah, work's gone late majority of the days this week. But I got quite a bit of Thargoid combat in there early on with the CG, and then, well, even after I hung out in the cul-de-sac for about half the week, even after the goal ended. Haven't really done too much else. traded down all my materials, and I'm actually on my way out to refill all of the high-grade rods right now.
You.
So yeah, the elite week hasn't been much for me. Just mostly real life nonsense, that
Right
thing we
on.
call work.
Yeah, but if you're not going to brag about it, I'm going to mention the guy killed an interceptor with a entirely unengineered ship. So that's kind of impressive.
Yes, the Chieftain. So this was
Yes.
AX cannons and advanced missiles?
So the Chieftain's actually a pretty badass ship, even without engineering. The armor's pretty awesome. But yeah, the two large hard points on the top were both the turreted AX multi-cannons. The medium was obviously the flak launcher, and then all three smalls were the advanced missile rack, because apparently they do not sell any kind of human-made AX weaponry in, just the standard AX missile racks or multi-cannons and small hardpoints for some reason. So I was forced to waste synthing materials on those weapons to get the job done.
Well, the AX actually overlap with the Guardian, the max of 4, don't they?
I do know there is a limit. I don't know if it's the same limit. I've never really tried to put that many Guardian / normal AX weapons on a ship because, with the advanced missile racks, there was really no point. Those things are just pretty badass.
Well, they are, except that you can't buy ammo for them, and they require Guardian materials to synth.
And the second you try to restock them at your carrier, you lose all that Guardian synth. But hey, you can engineer them for high cap, and you can get an entire night worth of fighting out of a single synth. So there's that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because they are engineerable. I'm pretty sure that that's the deal, that it's like they're the only AX damage that you can get that doesn't count for that 4 hardpoint maximum.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I guess I've been I failed. I failed to participate sufficiently in the CG. And then I went and did some AX combat afterwards, a little bit with dubs too. Afterwards, when it didn't count anymore, because I wanted to bring my revenge. I took a night off that I could have been participating, and I built a Type 10 to go for like brute force shard cannon damage. And I thought I can very quickly, the idea was very quickly solo Cyclops interceptors, and then the next day I'll be able to hop on and just put myself up into a good position here. And then the community goal accelerated like crazy, and it was finished by the time I finished work. So I didn't really get to try it out, but it turns out it's not that good anyway. And without a wingmate, I still really can't keep the Cyclops within range of the guns enough to finish it off in solo. It's actually terrible. It's a terribly disappointing Type 10 build. So we'll repurpose that for something else, I guess. So I don't know if Hate has come back and wants to tell his story or not. Okay. I can hear you now. So there was a computer that you were working on. Yeah.
At work. And the person who first assembled it clearly had never done it before. They had thermal paste seeped around the CPU into the pins, and it looked like the thermal paste had ejected out of the side and had covered 2 of the slots for RAM, and was just a string of it across the motherboard to the far side of the case.
Ew.
There was thermal paste everywhere. And
it lived to tell the tale.
You ordered it, and it'll arrive soon, but I had my hands on a 3070.
Nice,
which is really swell.
Well, so yeah, there actually is a ton to talk about today. So I am going to kind of accelerate a little bit.
Week.
Let's go right down the line. So Commander Phoenix Defier back in action anchoring Lave Radio this week. So we're all glad he's doing well. Actually, not all that much coughing. I was impressed. So we're all glad that they're feeling better over there. Starting today, the 19th, Elite is free on the Epic Game Store. It launched today. It will be free to purchase in quotes until the 26th. So you can pick it up there. You can tell your friends to pick it up. If you are buying an alt, you got to make sure to use a separate email address, something different. For me, I just put a dot in the middle of my Gmail account, which Gmail ignores, but everywhere else sees as a separate address. So easy peasy. There's some complicated stuff you have to do with the launcher, logging out and attaching the other one to a new Frontier account. If you have an Epic Store account with the same email address that your current Frontier account is, which is the way my situation was, make sure you change it first. They won't let you change it again for 60 days after you change the email address for security reasons. So do that in the right order and all will be fine. Also starting today are sales in the ARC store on your in-game cosmetics. There's a ton of stuff that is 30% off right now, basically Black Friday week starting today. And next week, the Stygian and Midnight Black paint jobs will become available and will be 15% off. So finish out your fleets. I expect everyone to be invisible next week.
Let's stop just for one sec there. I just want to know what you guys' plans are for your second account. I know all of you guys grabbed the second account, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing with yours, Trax?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I thought someone else was going to talk, and it would be safe to take a drink. I
was watching you on your webcam. I ambushed you.
How'd you get into my webcam? What I'm planning on doing with my second account is literally nothing. But I have it in case I ever change my mind. I really don't have any intention of installing the Epic Store, but obviously it was a silly thing to pass up. So maybe somebody I know will want an account someday, or maybe I will want one of those exploration accounts, but I just really don't relish the idea of I don't know. There's still so much to do in the game for me. I have no interest right now in what does it feel like to start over with nothing kind of stuff, Gotcha.
What about you, Dubs?
My secondary account's sole purpose will be griefing Chig.
That's what your main account was, I thought.
Like Trax, yeah. So I honestly have no idea what I'm going to do with the second account. I'll probably, unlock all the engineers, get them unlocked, build a couple ships, and just keep them on my fleet carrier for shits and giggles. I actually don't know. My problem is I
just want to cut it. Did you just say, I'm just going to unlock all the engineers and go do that? Like it's nothing?
Yes, you did.
I mean, it's not nothing, but I mean, a little bit here, a little bit there. I don't know, unlocking max out one engineer per week or something. Okay. But the problem with the alt account is I want all of my achievements, I want my discoveries, I want all of that to have, my main name on it. Like, if you go out and find some random rare, let's say I find Raxla with the damn thing, it's like, oh, great. Fucking Shithead McGee's secondary account now has Raxla's name on, Fucking...
The Chig Chaser.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't make a secondary account that's for exploration only. I want my name on that shit. So I'm still deciding. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it.
Right on. What about you, nerds?
I don't have enough time to play the account I have, so there's going to be no secondary account for me.
Gotcha. Now, Hate, you have Xbox and PC. Are you getting a second PC account?
I am going to get a second PC account. I have a plan for it. Chasing down and murdering one of our regular listeners repeatedly.
Is this a you know who you are situation?
I don't think I know who they are.
I'll be ready for you.
That took a weird turn.
So
are you going to tell us, or are you going to tell him, or is this just you're just going to be an evil little bitch?
It's going to be on the download until they're dead a couple of times.
Surprise!
Why do I think Teflon's gonna die?
Hey Chig, what's your plans for Commander Extra Pip?
I have no fucking idea. That's what I said. Is I made that joke early. Is name it Extra Pip or whatever, free Pip. Yeah, free Pip, and just use it for that. But I honestly I have no idea because I'm like you guys. I don't have enough time to play my main account, and even if I was out unlocking engineers, you got to collect engineering mats to do that. I would rather have those on my main. So I just I can't bring myself to do it. The only way I would see myself doing it is if I had mentioned on last week's show or something is doing an all on foot commander. But then he's still going to be unlocking stuff that I want this commander to unlock. So I don't know.
have to buy a second Odyssey account for that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's true. This doesn't even count for that.
Man, yeah, I have no idea. I've mentioned before, I've got a second account already, my daughter's account that she doesn't play. So this is actually a third account, and the only reason I got it is because it's free. I don't know.
I know that you're way too much of the absolute antithesis of a cheater to log it into CQC and shoot it over and over again.
Yeah, no, gross. I would never do that. That's just stupid. I know commanders. I've gotten into matches where I saw somebody doing that. It was they died a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, it's available. Everybody's doing it. This is obviously a big push to get a bunch of new commanders into the game before Odyssey launches. I think Chig, you said last week the thought that this bodes for a sooner than later Odyssey release.
Absolutely.
Starting to feel like I agree with you a little bit. So anyway, welcome new Epic Store commanders. This is a very valuable game, even though it was free. I find myself thinking about when Ty used to rant about games being free, making them feel worthless or something.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who had that thought.
What was his line? It was, God damn it.
It devalues
them, yes.
Yeah.
And
I truly don't think it's that big a deal.
I don't think so either.
Especially since you're about to get this. Well, right. And you're about to get this massive content drop that is an upgrade. It will be an upgrade for those players,
Yes.
That might not have even considered purchasing it otherwise. So
exactly.
I think it's going to do well to fill out our galaxy. So,
did anybody notice any extra players flying around today? I suppose they'd all be in the newbie zone still.
I'm gonna peek.
Steam.
We don't have any new
Charts.
Discord users today.
They wouldn't even show up on Steam charts either. So because they'll be in the Epic Store. So interesting.
We won't know. I'm assuming it will not be 100% people getting alts, but it certainly doesn't hurt that we're all talking about it. So
True.
Okay, so next up, there is something going on in a couple of days over this weekend. November 21st and 22nd is going to be Speed Bowl 4. We'll have a link in the show notes to the forum post from Primetime Casual. Speed Bowl is a wild thing. How do I do a quickie on Speed Bowl? Speed Bowl is using a high gravity planet and flight assist off to fall at sometimes faster than Super Cruise level speeds and try to hit a target and maybe not die. But it's basically a speed trial. I don't even know what to call this. Basically, we're trying to achieve the highest speed, and it's a big competition. There have been 3. This will be the 4th, and it's going to be a wild time. It is taking place, like I said, November 21st and 22nd on tabbing HR 6164 at The View.
Yeah, you just throw yourself at a high gravity planet as fast as possible and miss and see how fast you can go. Have you guys ever participated in that? I mean, I'm surprised
I've not.
Stubbs hasn't. I've always wanted to. I just never have.
Well, I will be participating, maybe not in the actual event, but I want to know if there is a cap on contact-related damage. Like if I just plow straight into the ground, like what's the damage cap? Like how much hull do I have to survive that at like 10,000 meters a second?
Well, there have been commanders hitting over 30,000 K a second.
Faster than the minimum supercruise speed. Yep.
Faster than the minimum supercruise speed in normal space. I do not believe there is a hull that could survive that.
Accepted.
Find out. I mean, just build the highest hull you possibly can. It's probably a cutter, right? And then the event location is HR 6164 ABC1. The world is a 3.3 G, and it's not far from Seoul. So there will be a drop-in altitude is 200 kilometers. There is a set of target coordinates. There is an upper altitude limit for the finish line, which I guess means you have to reach a certain distance from the surface, and you have to require a full run of video to be eligible for the final leaderboard. You're required to follow a given flight vector. The race run duration lasts less than 10 minutes, and rebuy your ship just in orbit. What does that mean? I'm just reading their rules now. Fleet carrier shuttle service is available. Rebuy your ship just in orbit. Oh, it must be that there's a station there that will rebuy you, so you don't have to fly far.
Or the fleet carrier that you ride in on.
Sure. And there will be carrier services. So anyway, click the link. There's a little trailer video and everything. This is a very fun thing that happens now and then, and very exciting. So, yes, comments on that, I guess.
Dubs?
I would love to try
challenge extended.
No. I'm going to see if my Type 7 will survive a direct impact with the ground at whatever speed I can get it to. I mean, it's got like 7,000 hull or something like that, so it's a tough boy. We just got to see how tough, and if there's a cap on kinetic damage, involved with collisions.
Well, collisions would be absolute, wouldn't it?
I mean, the game probably doesn't expect you to reach those speeds. It was probably not programmed in, so I'm assuming there's a damage cap there somewhere.
Yeah,
but I'm going to find out. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Okay, right on. Well, next up, I think we're going to do the squadron briefing.
Incoming priority message. Squadron briefing.
All right, so something exciting happened. Tell me about that.
Well,
I'm gonna say Nurgle. Go ahead. Hates having. I think we've.
Please go. I've sorted my problem.
Oh well, then go for it.
No, he's discovered the source of the problem with his microphone. The computer is being hammered by a burning station. More on that after the break.
Yeah, more on that later.
Crash boosted the server a couple times. Just random shout out. No.
So after weeks of fighting to get into the system, and then weeks of clawing our way to the top of the system, we have finally kicked those legal SOBs out of Thurston Ring and taken over. And yeah, so that is a yeehaw. We literally set our sights on 4 months ago, give or take. It's been a long and winding road to get here, but here we are. So, I think I posted in Discord the other day, drinks on me in Thurston Ring. It's time to change the decorations. So, good time. Of course, now we've got to, boost our enemies back up so we can fight them a couple more times and take the rest of the stations in the system, but we're there now.
We love our wars.
Unfortunately, these are elections.
It's all elections.
Yeah,
son of
not quite as good. Right. Yeah.
That's not going to stop me from shooting people.
No, and I'm doing my level best to find you a war somewhere. So there's that.
All right, good. I'm sick of elections. Everywhere.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, they're all elections right now. So we need a shooting war. And
cool.
Under the category of can't keep a good system down, we were talking about not doing any more expansions for a while and coasting and consolidating some of the things we had, but apparently Ross cannot be restrained. and it looks like we're going to expand again. And I had put a little informal poll up earlier on Discord about whether or not we were going to control this expansion and try to go somewhere, or just kind of let nature take its course. And so far, it's 8-1 for pick a target and work for it. So I guess there will be some updated orders coming in the morning, and we'll try to direct it.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. The people have spoken. That's probably not the choice I would have made, but I am definitely not in charge of that, and glad to be. Because that's another thing, man. The faction is there for the people to play with. So
yeah,
they're the boss.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well done. And thanks for your hard work as always. Let's talk, in-game Galnet. What's going on? Actually, not all that much. As we said, sort of in passing earlier, the, community goals finished. The community goals were both sort of one and the same, but the trade to support the Alliance making and improving new stations in the Coalsack sector did complete and accelerated dramatically right at the end. And then as soon as it was finished, or perhaps at the same time, and I just didn't notice, the anti-Xeno protection CG alongside it also took right off. And as I said, I was planning on getting in there and having a few hours to compete, and it was definitely gone maybe in a third of the time that I thought it would take. Just a massive, massive acceleration right at the end. And so this was the one for the reward for the top 25% was a 5A FSD that was engineered with both increased range and fast boot sequence. So I missed out on that. I was glad to help people by moving my carrier around, but I did not have game time to play and join them in such a way. So I fell to only 50%, I think, in the trade version. And then just today, we heard that based on feedback, FDev had changed their minds and adjusted the reward percentile. So now the top 75% of commanders will be receiving that. So a lot more people are going to get it. We still don't have the module deposited yet, so we still don't know exactly how the doubled mods are going to shake out. Maybe it's a really good one. Maybe it's kind of a boring module, but we'll see. But I am going to get one. Hooray. Did everybody else make it in there?
Not a chance.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Dubs,
you did from combat, right?
Me and Dubs got
combat
together with Arson Cross and Kai from Elite Week. And so the four of us went, and I didn't know interceptors could die that fast. The four of us would get in position, and usually the last person to drop in, they'd get to call when to start shooting because everybody else would already be in position. And, you know, with the way this game works, it's always something screws up where it drops one guy, too far away or something. But we'd get in there, get the three of us around it, and then the last person in would then come in. And if I did it, I would just fly into it, and then we'd all start shooting. But we would literally, it'd be like, okay, 3, 2, 1, shoot. And then it's like, oh, get away from it, it's dead. I mean, they died in under 2 seconds, under 3 seconds for sure.
These are giant shard cannon boats?
No,
oh, really?
Dubs he was in a shard cannon boat and advanced missiles just in case we needed them. I was advanced missiles and 2 shard cannons and 2 Gauss cannons. Arson, I'm pretty sure, was in there with just his FDL with his Gauss cannons, and I have no idea what Kai Zen was doing. He was an Anaconda, I believe. Dubs.
Kai was rocking Kai had the Corvette, and he was rocking 3 large shards. So if you combine Kai's shards, your shards, and mine, I mean, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shard cannons pounding down on that thing within 3 seconds.
6 Gauss cannons.
All the advanced missile. I had 4 sets of advanced missile racks. Arson had his FDL loaded up with Gauss cannons. So I mean, there was no shortage of firepower in that instance.
Yeah, it was. We giggled every time we did it. It was so dumb. Just again and again, just hammering the hell out of it. That it was to the point where I think we all just pulled the trigger once is what was happening by the time we got done.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and then we all ended up in the top 75. Dubs was in the top 10, or top 25. Top 25. Dubs
top
was
10.
top 10. I'm sure Kai and Arson were top 10. And I'm really happy that they dropped it to top 75 because I'm happy more people get it. But I think that that's just a shitty precedent when you set a goal and then you change it after the fact. Because I don't know. A lot of people didn't bother to go because they knew that they wouldn't get to the top 25%. So they didn't bother to go at all. And then other people, spent a lot of, we were killed them so fast. I mean, I was maybe working for an hour and a half and made 70 million. So, the way we were giving them, but I mean, if somebody was, soloing them and taking hours and hours and hours because they really wanted that module, you really wasted their time by then changing it after the fact. So I can imagine there's some salt out there.
Yes, I have seen the forum. The forum is what you expect. Nothing's changed over there. It is still kind of a furnace. And this is no exception to that, this issue. I do find myself kind of feeling like, guys, it's a game. Like, and if you are doing something in this game that you don't think is fun, I urge you to stop. This comes up in Discord from time to time too, like the idea that the grind is this thing to either be accepted or to be proudly shunned or something. And I really think that like there are little things in this game all through it, all of these little like quasi exploits in order to farm mats or or other things like that. Like those are in there on purpose. Like there's a reason that those don't violate the terms of service. It's so that you can do that if you want to. And if you don't want to, you can go get biotech conductors by doing missions and have fun. So
what are those?
What's a biotech conducer? What did you say?
No, don't do this. I had to name an episode, What's a Biotech Conductor already. We can't reuse that.
We'll use pharmaceutical isolators for this one. Okay. What is a pharmaceutical isolator?
Yes.
So anyway, I mean, sure, you work hard for something and then it's sort of given out below. The reciprocal of that is, but don't we want to have devs and community managers that are paying attention to the pulse of the game and trying to make adjustments rather than just saying like, whatever is what it is. If they see something as being not the way they wanted it to happen.
Right. I'm for one, am glad that they looked at it and decided to be more inclusive.
Yeah. It actually leaves me more hopeful that it's a meaningfully good module.
Yeah.
Because oh boy, imagine you think this is salty. Imagine if everybody put in those grindy hours, got to get to top 25, and then it comes out and the optimal mass doesn't stack, and they just be like, what the hell is this?
That'll be me.
Yeah, but then again, some people just want to unlock everything. Like I was saying before, I'm a dick when it comes to community goals. If there's not a good carrot at the end of the stick, I'm not really doing them. I'm watching, the burr pit and stuff and just getting the recap of it. When there's a prize, I'm out there doing it. So I don't know. The fact that also they just cut it back like they did was, it's just I don't like saying it's going to be something and then changing it. But I'm happy that more people get it. So, it's not that big a deal, but I just don't like the fact that they did it the way that they did it. But then again, I'm usually I'm fucking wishy-washy. I don't care. Move on.
Maybe the best outcome is that they're learning more about how to set their goals in the first place. So that, the idea that this is a bad precedent won't really be that impactful because we'll just be better at setting goals. Because I think we're still in the learning phase too about how quickly these things are going to get run down and how
But you know how people are.
Being it percentile based, it's tough because a few commanders can chase it way, way up. And then you could have this huge 25% and 50% pool, and then you could have an extremely narrow 25 and 10% pool.
Yeah, but think about this though. You know, right now we know how people are. There's people. The next time that there's a goal where you need to reach 75%, they're going to reach 25% on purpose just so they can bitch on the forums afterwards to try to get them to change it again. And if they don't change it again, so I don't think they can ever set a goal for a top 25% again, because all the people have to do is go bitch and say, wait a minute, last time you changed it back to 25, why not this time? That's where I see the issue.
Yeah.
Well, this is why those percentage-based goals are really a bad idea. Because you're always going to have that small segment of people who are busting the curve.
Right.
So
a graduated goal would be better, right? In the way a little closer to like the rank, right? There was
Tiers.
max rank, and then there was 2 ranks, and then there was 1 rank, depending on what you hit. And so it was easy to get the 1 rank. Almost anybody who participated a little bit could get the 1 rank. And then there were greater rewards if you participated more. Yeah, I think I could get behind that.
And that's what they could have done. Instead of the percentage, they could have just simply said, you earn 60 million in bonds, you're getting it. Earn 30 million in bonds, you're getting it, rather than a percentage where everybody's watching it and it's growing.
Oh, because it's moving under you.
Yep.
Yeah, I see what you're saying now.
So the reward structure needs to incentivize the performance of the individual, not
the performance compared to the group.
Right, because that's always going to be a moving target.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I really like that. I get that.
And watching that on Sunday, that goal conclude, how it grew exponentially.
That was
the number
ridiculous.
of bonds being turned in was that Friday? No, that was...
Yeah, I was at work.
Huh.
Yeah.
I thought that was Sunday. That ended all the way up. No, that was Sunday that finished up.
Oh, I know why I thought I was at work. Never mind.
No, that was Sunday. Yeah, that was Sunday that all of a sudden it was, because me and Dubs were doing it on Saturday, so it definitely didn't end on Friday. So
okay.
That was Sunday when all of a sudden, it was at 80%, then 83%, then 90%. And I mean, Dubs predicted at like noon that it would be over by 8 o'clock by the current rate, and it ended up being done by like 4. It was fast.
I was so wrong. I was completely wrong about that.
Your math was right at the time.
Yeah, and then more people are like, "Oh shit, I need to get on this," and then it just exploded.
It snowballed so hard. So, okay, let's go on here. So we've got a couple more things in Galnet that popped up. The feds swept the population of refugees and identified 9 NMLA terrorists and arrested them for questioning with plans to turn them over to the Imperial forces. And the Neo-Marlinists got extremely mad and threatened them. And I thought, this is interesting. For one thing, I really didn't expect the feds to go try to search for them in the first place. But it was like, oh, so maybe we won't have an all-out Imperial Federation war. And then today, some bombs went off. So we've got another burning station. Kepler orbital in the Atropos system was hit. Apparently, Hate told me a few minutes ago that this is where the identified NMLA terrorists were being held. So they just they sort of killed their own people to martyr them,
or to keep them from talking.
What would they have said? Oh, yeah. So this could have been like an interrogation issue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so that's what's going on right now. So there is no new community goal. And if you're interested in doing rescues from a burning station like NL Hate was, and that's why his computer was having trouble and his microphone was failing on us, you can run over to that station. Which I will read again because I'm so kind. Kepler orbital.
Atropos.
Yeah, my Greek friend says it's Atropos.
Okay, Atropos. So head on over there and you can participate in the burning station scenarios, which are great fun and stressful on GPUs. So good job, everybody.
There's still gankers messing with people over there. Does anybody know?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I heard earlier that there was issues.
I saw one person in Super Cruise, but they were leaving.
Cool.
Not much of an opportunity to gank whenever the goal is 1 mm away from the station.
Right.
That's
and those
talk.
rescue ships are always posted so close. I'm sorry, did I miss something?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Sorry. All right. Well, so now that's what's been going on in game, and now we can get to the big discussion of the night, the thing everyone's been waiting to talk about. We learned this week that Star Wars Squadrons is getting a great big update, including new content and new ships. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, I heard the B-Wing. That was kind of exciting, but
B-Wing and TIE Defense. Oh wait, is this not what you guys wanted to talk about? Shoot. I misunderstood the situation again. You must have wanted to talk about what went on Tuesday's live stream that Bruce and Art did.
I would love to earn more credits and have fewer people laser mining. Wouldn't you guys like that?
Down with laser mining. So there was a stream. I did watch a good portion of it after the fact. So I have did get to hear like straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But then there's been a few recaps since then. So basically the big one, actually, I'm going to hit a couple of small things that they also mentioned. The thing that's going on is the credit balance pass that's incoming, and updates will be streaming in over the coming weeks with regards to that. But they also mentioned a couple of other things. Particularly, I was really I just wanted to say, like, I was really impressed with the community management team. I continue to be over and over again, besides like taking the time to do fun stuff like the skit that they did and stuff like that, but also just kind of the way they handle it. I feel like there's a lot of personality to the stream now, and they're having technical issues and they're able to make fun of it. And they directly address it, and they directly address the chat. And we have community managers now that are paying attention to things and not just like ignoring the chat. So when things are happening, they're being clear about, I can't tell you about that right now, or I will be able to tell you about that soon. Like, they're literally answering things in that way, like if they don't have anything to say, they're telling you, I just don't have anything to say about that right now, which is, an about face from a couple of years ago, it's feeling like to me. And then to also, just the way they handle it, because especially they get crap from people on the stream. They're playing CQC, and of course they're getting crap from the chat about not being like excellent combat pilots. And they stop and said like, hey, listen, we work. We don't just play this, we do play the game, but we don't just get to play this game for fun all the time, but we do care about it. And part of, it's our job, but it is not our job to be excellent combat pilots. And there's plenty of people who've been playing this game like crazy, and there are still aspects of the game that they don't know everything about. So take it easy. And I felt really impressed. He didn't do it in a mean way, but Art really kind of standing up for themselves instead of just sort of, the default might have been to kind of bashfully ignore that or something and just try to be polite, like, and just answer the nice comments. But no, actually, like saying like that actually doesn't help. It doesn't help to be attacking them for not being good at the game. Like, who cares? And it's like, that's not really the point.
Ever since ARF came on board, it's you felt this tidal change to how things are. They are much more candid and just straightforward. Just it's straight shooters more these days than they used to be.
The way they play off each other.
The way they play off each other is really good, but also just the way that, like you say, he doesn't try like the political correct answer or whatever, or the company line. He's answering as honestly as he can, and he knows where that line is. He doesn't have to think about it. And if he lets something slip, I don't think it phases him. He just he does what he is. And I think a big part of that also is the fact that he was a player of this game for a long time before he came in. So he knows what it's like to be a player, wanting information and knowing, just enough to wet our whistles and satiate us just enough that we're not thinking there. Because I love Steven, but Steven always was the company line so hard that you couldn't get anything out of him. And I know that goes back to the leak, and it's kind of crazy. He's like the old guard now when he's only been around for a year. But it's it's kind of crazy. But I love the community team right now.
At one point in the stream, Bruce makes a mistake and kind of catches himself about to throw an F-bomb, and Art kind of goes, "Oh yeah, you were about to say this, weren't you?" Just like, you know what I mean? Like it's just a totally different atmosphere. It feels extremely real, and I think there's just been that shift in the background, and maybe back then if these people were there, it would have happened sooner, or maybe the bringing these people on was part of that shift. But things are going well. Along those same lines, he stopped in the middle of the stream to address the issue of memorials in the game. Unfortunately, the way things are, there's actually been quite a few requests for that, and they have in the past been able to do that, but they're always timid about it because it's tough. You start getting requests. The thing is with a game that so many people are playing, that touches so many lives, you're just going to be attached to so much of that it becomes a strain on resources. It becomes a thing where it's sort of like, how can you possibly do all of this? And then if you're having to pick and choose what you do, that's hard. And so then they ended up with this interim policy of, we don't do that at all. Well, they're trying to reverse on that. And he particularly addressed that he's working with the team to come up with an idea and flesh it out so that they can have a system in place, because they do want to be able to do stuff like this, and they understand how meaningful this game is to people and why people feel that way when it comes to things like memorials. So I think currently the suggestion may be something along the lines of having a period of time in which there will be every 3 months or whatever that period of time is, a memorial will go up that will be, and this is what happened in this period of time, kind of thing. And that vastly improves their ability to do it, respectfully and appropriately without it having to be, individualized and things like that. So, they probably still could individualize quite a bit of it, but it would make it much more possible, which is what they would like to do. So those are my little pullout things. But the main issue is the credit balance pass that's coming in. So starting with mining, which will probably happen this coming week, we will see something change, and they've said that it's going to involve aspects of the market, but also other stuff. So I think we are going to be talking about mining yields. Specifically, they're wanting to have the more, basically just overall the whole game, the more risky things should pay better. And they've reiterated the things that they've said before about the more complicated game loops, the more skill-based aspects when it comes to mining, with regards to laser being the not skilled version, the easier version. The other ones that require more interaction, more skill, need to pay out better. And that'll probably involve adjustment to both markets and to the actual source of the minerals in the game. And so that'll be the first thing. And then after that, they're going to be doing some stuff with combat. He did say that the pulse wave analyzer bug is still not fixed, and he did not think that they would have the fix before the changes are incoming. He outlined kind of a roadmap for it, and it is many weeks long. and we'll touch on almost every part of the game regarding what the credit payout is. But the overall gist is more risky things should pay more. And when that comes down to especially combat. So I we can talk about how to interpret that, I guess. He also said that they would be creeping up on it. That's not exactly his words, but the point being they don't want to like overshoot. They want to, if anything, undershoot and be able to work up to the right thing because of how complicated it is to adjust something that affects so many, has these rippling effects through the whole game. So that's the gist of it. Let's chat. Who wants to? Who
All right,
wants to speak up?
Let me
do it.
Let me put the glasses on here because I'm going to the notes.
Somebody took some time off from work today.
Well, not off from work. I was actually at work, but yeah. So, FDev, if you're listening, get your pen and paper out. I'm going to run this down for you. Okay. So, mining. First of all, don't touch the markets, because when you touch the markets, you're adjusting either with demand, the ability to sell, or with pricing, how much stuff sells for. They've already said they want to make the more skillful things pay better than the less skillful things. And if you're sledgehammering the price in the market, you're affecting everything. So I don't think that's the way to go. But when you break down mining...
Sorry, just to cut in, because I think I may have misled you a little bit. The stuff he was saying about the market was to do with, I think, the way it kind of shifts on a gradient depending on what's in your hold. Right. There was a comment that he made where so I don't think he's talking about like market in the sense that what you're saying. I think it actually sounded like it would be something that would be more fair overall.
And I think so too. I don't think they're going to mess with prices or that type of stuff, but I want to make sure that we make clear that I think that's a bad idea. Should they have some type of aneurysm and decide to go that way? But so, you have laser mining, subsurface mining, and core mining. So laser mining is the easiest to do. I think the easiest way to adjust that is to adjust either the number of chunks that are produced or the size of the deposit in the chunks so that you get less when you're mining. It should be easy. It should be low yield. For people who like to watch gold mining shows like I do, that's placer mining. You're just shifting through a lot of material. You're picking up the light stuff, and it's slow and steady. Okay. Subsurface mining, it's the chunk size needs to be bigger because the rocks are going to be fewer and far between. It takes some skill to get those chunks out. It needs to be a higher payout when you do find them. That would be the equivalent of finding a deposit of gold nuggets somewhere and mining them all. It's more sporadic. It's skill-based, but the payout is bigger. And then core mining, there's going to be long dry spells. But when you find a core, it should be a huge chunk of that material. That would be the equivalent to finding a mother lode somewhere. That's
exactly what they're called in the game.
Yeah. It should not be unreasonable to get, 50 tons of ore out of a core if the cores are appropriately rare. I mean, I could see that being completely appropriate. But, and then the flip side is, in exchange for the lower yield, laser mining needs to have produce much more engineering materials, potentially with the possibility of getting the higher grade materials at appropriate rareness. But you're not going to get the big payout, but you should get engineering materials out of that. That should be one of the benefits of accepting that lower payout, and that's not going to be terribly game breaking. It's more of a convenience thing than anything else. In the previous passes, they've adjusted how hotspots work, how overlaps work. Please don't touch that again. It did not go well the last time.
Right.
Because anybody who used to mine low temperature diamonds knows, I don't want to say that's dead, but it's on life support because of the changes they made to try to make it less viable as a money-making scheme. So yeah, mining. What do you think?
Chig, you're desperate to talk about mining, right?
Always. No, I agree with almost everything Nergal said right there. Is
I will end you.
Is definitely you don't need to mess with the prices. Just adjust the yield in the different mining, methods. So if you're gathering things, you go for void opals, you get more of them than you do. Even with the higher price, you get more of them because it takes longer to find them. Painite, a lot of people are panicking this week. Oh, make sure you sell your painite, because it's going to be in the dirt next week. They never said that. We don't know what their fix is going to be exactly. I mean, they could just as easily raise the price of painite, but cut the amount you get from a rock in half, and it's going to lower the price. So we really don't know what way they're going to go. So I am of the inclination of just holding on to stuff and seeing what happens, because prices could go up on things, could go down. I just think it's going to be different because this is more they're talking about rebalancing, not only this, but then combat down the line and everything else, if we're talking outside of mining, I love talking about mining, but getting out of the mining aspect of it just a little bit is the idea of balancing. Obviously, we've discussed, where, we've gotten heat in the past because we've said we don't think combat necessarily should pay more than mining, because who would go mining if you didn't have to? That's the incentive to go mining, is to make money. But if they are actually looking at this from a balanced thing, I think this goes back to Art, once again, being a player. So he hears what the players are saying. And when he plays the game, he is like, well, why do I have to do this instead of that? But I'd like to see him touch a few other things in the game, like along the line of open versus solo play, payouts changing a little bit, and, the different kinds of combat paying different, bounties versus bonds versus, open world, straight up bounty hunting at a nav beacon, little tweaks here and there to bring all of those up enough. So right now, in order to get a fleet carrier, if you did it without mining, more power to you. That's damn impressive. I mean, I've made enough in exploration over my entire career of this game. I could have bought my fleet carrier without mining, but I wouldn't own any of the other ships I have. There's just no way. That's the only way you can legitimately realistically own a fleet carrier, is if you've mined at some point in your Elite Dangerous career and gone down that road. My question with the balancing, though, taking one more step back, are they doing this just because it was such a hot topic there for a while, or might we finally have a player market coming in? Because otherwise, I don't care how many credits people have.
A credit market?
Yeah, well, an actual player-to-player market where we can actually finally sell something, ships and stuff like that. Is that coming in Odyssey? We haven't heard, but it's funny that right now, just, mere weeks, 6 weeks to 12 weeks probably, it's going to be out. And now all of a sudden they're addressing this market situation. Is that a possibility?
I would like to think that they would speak up about that if they were going to do it.
I feel like I have seen no signs that that's what it is. All the comments are, we know this has been on your minds, and this has been like the number one thing that people sort of like in general want adjusted about the game for ages. Like that's what they're saying. They're saying like, this is what everyone talks about when you talk about what's up with this game. It's not, it's not like, oh, this menu doesn't work right or something. Once you get past that stuff, it's combat and other things. Like it's the wild imbalance. And yeah, I was on record several times as feeling like combat has its own rewards, and I don't think there's any chance it's going to get buffed up and become equal with mining, but the balance can be tightened. They did also specifically say that conflict zones will be sort of the last thing touched, like other aspects of combat pay. And they also said that they are not planning on touching wing missions. They feel like the wing missions are paying enough.
See, and that's what I disagree with the most.
I find a huge variance.
Well, I think bounties, especially, stuff from getting resource extraction sites and that type of stuff, that should never pay that well, because it's ubiquitous throughout the game. That should not be where you're adjusting the money making. Combat bonds, mission rewards, conflict zones, that's the stuff that needs to pay more, because that's a higher level of content.
Well, he didn't say they weren't going to adjust conflict zones. He said it would be the last thing.
Right. And I think they're approaching that. I would approach that from the other direction.
You'd start there.
That is, they say they want riskier, more skilled activities to be more rewarding. A high conflict zone has highly engineered enemies that cheat like crazy.
That's the highest level NPCs you'll find, for sure.
That the bonds that you get from that, and and any mission rewards you get from doing that should pay more.
Yeah,
I agree.
So
I agree.
I want to make sure to get some other voices in here. So what does Dubs think?
No, Dubs is here.
No.
Dubs is here just because he says he doesn't listen to the show ever. So I wanted to make sure to get him in here, so he was forced to listen to it this week.
He still won't listen.
I don't know. As long as they, if they can fix it to where core mining is more profitable than that bullshit that we call laser mining, that's what I want. I absolutely hate the fact that laser mining is the meta for making money, and I will not do it. I will have nothing to do with it.
It's only the meta because the pulse wave analyzer is broken right now.
It was still the meta.
It was
the pulse wave went down. Yep.
It was only me that was still doing core mining while Pana had taken over.
Yeah, I haven't mined since the pulse wave broke.
I've got enough credits that I
we did.
Really
remember
care.
We watched The Last Jedi. You were with me. You were in a wing. You mined with me.
The pulse wave was still working at that time.
Backwards. If you flew backwards, maybe. I don't know.
No, that night that
must have been before.
I stole Ty's void opals, the pulse wave was still working then.
That is true.
Am I the only one who actually enjoys laser mining?
Yes.
You're not the only one in the whole world. What about hate? What do you think?
I really appreciate that the only danger in laser mining is falling asleep and slamming against the rocks.
That is true.
Not if you do it in open.
I mean, once you're in the ring, they're not going to find you. So
exactly. Yeah, and laser mining it's just so. It's a great Netflix activity, but so is core mining. You can do both. I don't know. Mining is boring.
Yeah.
So what should the yields be is the question. And I'll give you a baseline. So my laser mining cutter is ridiculously engineered and focused in on laser mining.
Yeah.
And if I am really on it, while my collectors are finishing up one rock, I'm shooting prospectors at the next one, and I'm really trying to min-max it. As long as I don't hit a bad streak of asteroids, I can probably pull in let's say 120 tons an hour. Really focus on it. That means the podcast is not on, and I'm doing nothing but working the laser mining. If that's the baseline, where should the others be?
I don't think raising the others would be acceptable. Honestly, I think they ought to just move laser mining into the ground.
I think that's where core should be, and you go down from there.
Right. I would feel good about that.
You think that it should be that big of a difference?
Yep.
Because see, to me, and I
think you're being very generous to say they deserve materials for it.
Well, maybe I am, but that's just me wanting an easier way to get materials.
Yeah,
I'm shameless about that, and I'm sure Chig won't mind agreeing with me on it.
What's
in my
the
opinion,
easier way to get materials than?
Yeah, let's go surface mining. Or let's go the 3 mining. Let's say, we've got subsurface, core, and just surface bullshit. I'd say core mining, 100 million an hour you can make, 75 for subsurface, 50 for surface mining or laser mining. That's where I would go. I think it should be half as lucrative as core mining. I mean, you're finding mother loads, for Christ's sake. That should be like big money.
That doesn't seem crazy to me.
Sometimes I say
no, not entirely.
Crazy.
Not entirely. I mean, I think we may all quibble over where the numbers are, but I don't think we're too far off on what the ratios should be.
In some engineering mats from all 3 of them, I have no problem with that, but I don't think it should be your main source of engineering mats. If you're accumulating some, that's fine. Right now, I think surface mining's silly because you fill up all those low-grade stuff so much that you have to go find a material trader at some point and use the ridiculous exchange rate to trade up so that you can gather more mats.
Which I have done this week.
Yep, I've done it in the past.
I think, and I don't do core mining, but I really think cores should be reasonably rare. You should have to search for a while to find one.
Like they are.
But when you do find one, that core should have 50, 60 tons of material in it.
I agree.
Right now it's you're what, like 12 to 18 maybe tops?
Yeah, I was going to say 15-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just not enough. The core should be they call it a mother load. It should be a mother load. It's gigatons of rock. I don't really know personally where I would put subsurface in there somewhere, but I don't think laser mining 50 maybe to me is a bit low, maybe 75. But yeah, we're in the same neighborhood.
0.
Yeah, well,
0.
You're just a hater.
Well, let's keep in mind if they keep the wing mining working the same, 50 tons of material 4 times is an exorbitant amount of material per hour.
That's the thing. I think we need the wings to impact the other kinds of mining. Somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make that work, but that's a huge problem in my eyes. Always has been.
I think there should always be a nice premium for anything you do if you're doing it with other players to promote the multiplayer aspect of this.
Yes.
Yes.
I think there's a good chance we'll see that.
I hope so.
Oh, I don't know if I'm that
confident. Right now, a lot of mined materials don't affect BGS. Maybe, since it's already in the code that doesn't affect the BGS, we can get a higher trade dividend when selling as a wing.
That would
lost me at BGS.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to understand that, but I think you said fun things.
Yes, I agree.
Mined materials generally do not have any effect in the BGS. They're zeroed out. So if you go and sell, 200 million credits worth of painite at a station, it has no effect on the BGS. And that's true for other mined materials too. Stuff that you can buy from a station, some of it does, some of it doesn't. But and since Hate brought this up, BGS was going to be another one of my talking points. Later down the line, when they readjust the payout for combat, that's going to have a BGS effect because that's one of those BGS buckets you can fill.
Mm-hmm.
So, depending on what they do, that could have a minimal to a earth-shattering effect on how BGS is handled. And their track record with balancing BGS stuff ain't that great. So that does kind of concern me.
Ticks hasn't been great lately.
Well, and I still don't like this midday tick. This 11 o'clock my time tick is really damaging my calm.
So to touch again, I guess, on the combat stuff, my interpretation of the way it was described was that what we'd be looking at was something that might only affect the upper end of combat, or it might be more mission based. Like it might not just be like the bounties that are on general NPC ships that are at a Hazres. Or at least it might be scaled where the small ones are relatively the same to where they are, but like the very, very large ships with high skilled pilots, that payout like doubles, or you know what I mean? Like it starts to become like this exponential thing, so that when you are hitting those bigger things, it's paying better. But I did kind of get the impression from the way they were talking that I thought it could be mission based. Does that make sense? You know, like the assassination missions start to pay better and things like that.
Yeah.
I think that honestly, at the end of any conflict zone, if you're on the winning side, you should get a big fat bond for winning.
Yeah, those definitely need to go up. Those definitely need to go up.
You know, for each bond you gathered, you get let's say you collected 8 bonds during the course of it, you get an 8 million bonus at the end if you win. You know, something like that. Just some extra money for just being there. Not because I'm going to sound like a whiny bitch, but the mission board ones are always so frustrating because it's always, kill X number of ships or whatever. And it's always some ridiculous ass number most of the time.
But what if those paid a lot more?
But you do it for an evening and then all of a sudden you have to, most of us might play a couple hours, a few days a week in the evening. Getting, 72 kills, it doesn't matter how, much it pays. I might not get all those kills. Then the next day, also the conflict zone is for your average player. The conflict zone is gone because the war was over and they didn't realize that it was on the final day. I had that happen to me when I was new. I don't know how many times.
And anything over 30 or 40 is really hard to do without a wing, unless you have a super long play session. So in that case, what about this? What if instead of the credits per mission going up, what if the ship's per mission goes down? That would be an effective pay raise.
That needs to happen anyway.
Yeah.
But
there's also this huge discrepancy from the wing thing. Sorry, nobody was talking for a second. There's a huge discrepancy between wings and non-wing missions. There's all the time when I'm dealing with Warzone stuff, there'll be a bunch of single missions, commander missions that have 70 to 80 ships and they're paying fine, whatever. But it's this wild amount of work that nobody can help me with. And then the wing mission, it only has 20 ships or something like that. And that's insane. Like why isn't the 70? Yeah, it seems like it's randomly generated and the random number generator is totally busted.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that before Odyssey, that specific thing is going to be fixed because there's so much work going into the mission administering server for Odyssey.
But I think this is getting... I think the whole point of pushing all this balancing stuff before is because they need to get it off the plate before Odyssey comes. I mean, they need to get it. Yeah, they need to get it sorted out before Odyssey gets here. It's unsaid, I think, but I think it's obvious, right?
I really hope they get it fixed. I really hope they get it fixed like really quickly, but I just don't see it moving that quickly.
You may be right, but I will tell you this:
I hope so.
If the payout for conflict zones and combat bonds goes up significantly, Hate and I'll have this faction embroiled in wars continuously around the clock.
Sweet.
Well, we almost are already.
More than we already are.
Yeah. So also on the list was exploration, of course. I don't even know what to expect from that, but basically like the payouts for certain things, they thought the way they described it, it seemed like some things are paying okay, other things are not. So could this be big buffs to things like gas giants or black holes and neutron stars?
Giants,
water giants.
Black holes. Come on. Yeah.
We're kind of at this point where if you're actually trying to make money with exploring, you're really just looking for water, ammonia, earth-likes, and anything that's terraformable.
Right.
And everything else you're ignoring. So what are thoughts? What do you think? Could there be a reason for gas giants to be valuable?
Before we get into the weeds on that, can we unanimously agree that the bonus payout for first discovered and or first mapped needs to be pretty huge.
What is it now?
Yeah.
For Earthlikes, yes.
Because I don't think it's an awful lot now.
Well,
it's less than
usually
$1 million.
about double. Well, yeah, it's about double the value. I agree. If you're the first person mapping and or discovering, definitely a boost. And I think it should be. They could almost do it a flat. Well, no, because of how much more valuable. I was going to say it should just be a flat fee, but then also in Rocky Ice Worlds, you're getting $1 million bonus for when it makes sense.
Right.
But
it needs
I
to
don't know,
be
3 times maybe.
I mean, I can see first discovery on an Earth-like. Why can't that be 10 million?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've only got maybe 10 Earth-like discoveries in all the exploration I've ever done. So yeah, it could be a big chunk of change.
Yeah.
I've had systems that were in the 10 million kind of zone.
Well, systems, but single planet. Just
single
that
planet
Earth-like in there.
Not over 6 or so usually, I think.
No, I think that it maxes out about 3.5 or 4 for Earth-like, isn't it? First discovery.
Well, I don't know.
Earth-like. But then if you do Rue like I do, I've never done an exploration trip where I didn't come back. Well, I've only done 2, so I've never done one without. I've gone out twice, but both times I came back and I did the Leon Rue thing, so I got 3 times the value, and I did a almost 2 billion trip, and then 5 billion when we did distance screws last time. So you make some good money exploring if you exploit it. That's just once again just min-maxing stuff like you were talking about with the mining, or you get into mapped runs, you can make so much more. So in almost everything, if you truly get to min-maxing, you can make good money. Even combat, stacking wing missions, and you're in a wing and you just you get out there, you can murder stuff pretty fast. So I don't know. I just don't see the credits thing as a problem, but that's somebody who has a lot of credits. They'll say that. So
yeah,
it's true. First world problem.
Yep, exactly. So
I'm already
always,
rich. Why should we help the poor?
Exactly. but honestly, that's the thing, is you always got to take into consideration, for new players, players getting started. Do you want them to struggle? And at what point is the tipping point where you want to give them, these easier ways to make money so they can get into the bigger ships and eventually get into a fleet carrier? It almost seems like there should be, skill plateaus where all of a sudden you get this big bump in income when you get to a point that you can do certain things that you couldn't do before. And that's the weird balancing, because this is a whole galaxy with a whole lot of shit to do. So I don't think there's a perfect answer.
But that was kind of my point about talking about my ridiculously engineered mining cutter earlier. If we're using me as the baseline for mining, laser mining, bringing in too many credits, I'm probably in the 1% of laser miners. I've invested millions into the cutter, and not everybody's going to do that. So if we're basing what is, if our evaluation for what too much money laser mining is based on me min-maxing it, that's not 95% of the player base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I look back to when I first started, and I was watching, YouTube videos where all those kind of players who go and do the min-maxing kind of stuff. But, I did the, go in a has-res, not a has-res, but a resource extraction site, and shoot the people that the security guys are shooting at in order to just get enough money. And I got a keel back. And then I went and tried core mining in a keel back without shield, so I had enough room in the ship to get enough void opals. But then when I filled that up, I went and turned that in. Then I was in a Python already, and then core mining. And next thing you know, I've got my invitation to Jameson, just because I was out in a Python, and void opals. You could make $1 billion pretty damn fast. So if you're determined to find a way to do it, it's there.
I agree. And do we need to balance the whole game around that probably small core group of people who are going to try to find those ways to do that is the question. So that's the concern, that maybe this is a solution looking for a problem.
Maybe, but I still think that, core mining should be more lucrative than surface mining.
I agree with you. Relatively, they need to be balanced to each other. I absolutely agree with you.
So, and I think that that's what they're trying to do. And I think maybe everybody's reading more into it than is actually there. They're literally just trying to do what they've said for a long time, is that the more dangerous and more skilled things should pay more than the mindless, less dangerous things. And maybe, it's as simple as that. And everybody's just reading, way more into it.
Us overreact? No.
Overanalyze? I mean, spend hours talking about a 2-minute video or something? No, we would never do that.
No, not us.
But I mean, I'm interested too, because they'd pushed the dev diary or whatever the hell they're calling them these days, that was supposed to be in November here into December. And Art had said, because they were working on something else that everybody's going to be really excited about. What's that something else they're working on there?
Well, it's the credit balance, isn't it? That's what I thought it was.
I hope not.
I
you think not. Something else?
I think something. Yeah, I think it's something. I'm either thinking another game trailer, or maybe they're prepping for the beta, or I don't know. I don't think
beta
it's
would
just
be outstanding.
Credit balance stuff, which that would be disappointing.
Yeah,
if they're putting out
talking about that thing we were supposed to like a lot more, right?
Yeah.
It was probably just the free copy of the game, honestly, man. No. Don't read too far into it.
God, I hate this guy.
Such a negative Nancy.
Yeah,
but
I don't honestly think that. I don't really have an idea of what that thing might be, but
that's because you're such a shithead, McGee.
I'm going to remain hopeful that is a beta.
Oh, that would be nice. I would love to see a beta about it.
I'm probably wrong. In fact, I'd bet I'm wrong.
First thing I'm going to do in the beta is snipe Chig.
I don't play betas, so good luck finding me. Yeah, I don't care. Shoot me some arcs if I go in the beta, maybe, or something. But I just don't. I don't like being the guy who's helping them find bugs and already, going through whatever the new grinds are, going through all those grinds in beta, then it hits live game. It's like, oh, I get to do that again. No, I'm gonna wait till live game. I'll tell you right now, my hand is up. I won't be in a beta if there is one. So that doesn't excite me at all. It does a little bit because it means that the game is that much closer to being launched, but it gives me no gameplay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I half agree with you. So what's happened the last time, like the fleet carrier beta, I am not interested in like going in and playing it for any extended period of time, but I do like to kind of poke my head in and look around. Usually it hasn't taken that long to find a bug, and then, but like, I don't know, I am not going to be the person who's going to like be the first to discover a bug. So I don't feel that pressure. That's for sure.
No, me either.
Yeah.
I want the sneak peek.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not going to grind in a beta. I can grind in the real game, damn it.
Well, if you're grinding in a beta, you're doing it wrong.
Well, you need to be out trying stuff, and you got a plant gun. You got to be going to planet and be shooting plants or probing plants or whatever the hell you do with the plant gun.
Yeah,
I don't want to know about you probing plants.
This will be a pretty exciting beta to poke your head into, though.
Or watch, videos on YouTube.
You're not going to want to like walk around on a planet?
Nope, don't care.
Always with the negative waves, Moriarty.
I'm not being negative. I'll wait. I can't wait
Happy
for it to
to
be
wait.
in the real game. Yeah, I'm excited for the launch and everybody out doing their stuff. So that's what I want. Once again, if I'm doing something in game, I want it to count for in game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't disagree.
So, but yeah, I don't know. What else we got?
I don't know. And everybody talked out on the credits.
I've said my piece.
All right.
What about you, Dubs? Anything else?
Yeah.
I don't believe I have anything at the moment.
Any last thoughts, Hate, on credit balance?
Mining bad. Lasers hot.
Lasers bad. Core's
I'm
good.
I'm ready to roll.
All right.
Okay. So a few other orders of business. I have this theory that I posted on the Discord a few days ago, and it's gotten quite a bit of attention. So I guess now we're actually going to go ahead with it, and that's to run a kind of one of our smaller nightly events, like we've done before on Tuesday. I think this time we'll try to do for like a weekend day. Maybe I'll gather some intel in Discord if you're interested in this. So the idea is, I should probably say what it is, to have kind of a combat tutorial night for, I think mostly for beginner stuff. There's a lot of people coming in and out of Discord who have questions about things that they don't understand or just want to try to like get better. And so we would have some commanders experienced in combat, thinking mostly of beginner stuff at this point, but that includes how and why certain things on your ship build are going to work better than others, all the way through how to maneuver, how to deal damage, how to get those kills. Haz-res, other sorts of situations probably will... I kind of want the questions in person to guide it, but the idea would be if you can be online and in game with us, that's great. But we would also stream. I think hopefully there would be two of us on here who can stream, so we can have like an inside and outside view of certain things that are happening, which might be useful. And kind of let the questions guide it. There's so much of this stuff that gets asked and talked about in the channel. I think it would be really good to be able to demo it in person and stuff like that. So it seems like a lot of people are interested. I would love to do a weekend day and then maybe a weeknight as well, just to spread it out and make sure everybody can come. And there probably will be more stuff than we can cover in a reasonable amount of time too. So maybe this will be a little bit more of a recurring thing. I'm not sure. And then maybe we can even move on to more advanced stuff later. For me, like, I don't consider myself to be like a really excellent combat pilot or anything, but I am at a point where most NPC combat interactions are trivial. And it's not that crazy to get to that point either. It's not like I'm not like an always flight assist off player who, competes in PvP all the time. So, I'm hoping that some people will come along with me and I won't be the only one offering out advice. I would love if Dubs and Chig were there and everybody here, really, because the more voices, the better. Even just today when we were discussing a few points that somebody was talking about, everybody has additional things to what I would say that all make sense too, that are valuable advice besides just what I can say. So anyway, as far as exactly what day, I have not picked out exactly what day, but maybe we can do one. Maybe we can do a night this weekend and see how it goes. I think it's going to be pretty informal, and maybe we can do them semi on the regular, so it doesn't have to be this huge thing that's a big problem if you miss out on. Because I know my schedule changes sometimes up to the last minute, so it can be tough. How does everybody feel about that?
No, I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Game for it.
Yeah,
I will participate if I'm available.
Yeah. But when Trax is, talking about everything combat, even talking about, outfitting. I don't think you mentioned outfitting and engineering choices and stuff like that. Really, how to have a combat ready ship and then how to actually use that combat ready ship.
Right.
Yeah. And I do not want to tell people this is how you have to build your ship, but I do want to explain why I make the choices I make. And like, I do a lot of ship build advice on the channel. I know Dubs does a lot too. Everybody kind of gets into it here and there. And I don't like rearrange everybody's guns and you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like, I try to see what they've built on their ship and say, here's how I would change it to possibly optimize it. So what I want to do is kind of explain my theory craft there and like why I make the choices that I make in that case, you know. But if somebody comes to me with railguns and multi-cannons, I'm not going to change them off of that, but I might change the way some parts of their ship are built to make that more effective. Or I don't know, maybe it really isn't the best for what they've talked about, but that's a question for the moment and can shift around. So, anyway,
right on.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Okay, super. So I would, if you're hearing this podcast, go over to the events channel in Discord, and we'll probably pick out if we want to do like Saturday or Sunday night, or it may end up being very ad hoc. I might just right now try to plan on Sunday night just so that I can say something on the air. And then possibly to do something Monday or Tuesday night for a weekday follow-up. And I think, you know, if we start with a couple of nights, we'll see how much we get through, see how many more questions there are.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Cool. So what do we want to talk movies and cheese?
Sounds good to me. Always sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay, just a couple movie anniversaries. Well, 3 movie anniversaries, but only one of them is really worth talking about. But I was blown away that Dances with Wolves is 30 years old. That makes me feel insanely freaking old.
Yeah.
Casino, 25 years old. I know. Shut up. No, Nurgle's older than me. Nurgle,
Thanks,
I think.
man.
Hey, we're not
Nurgle
talking
was
about Nurgle
retired
right
when that
now.
came out. All right. All right.
Not quite.
Casino came out 25 years ago, which was...
But I was legal to drink when that came out.
Well, I wasn't. When Casino came out, I was 25 years ago. That's, De Niro and Pesci in a gangster movie. Oh my God, shocking.
I have a child older than Casino.
Wow. But the third one, Toy Story, is 25 years old. Now, this one really, really makes me feel old, because when Toy Story came out, that was Pixar. That was like mind-blowing that they were doing all of that with computers at that time.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
1995, they were just starting to really, Spielberg, what he did in Jurassic Park a couple years earlier, making realistic-looking dinosaurs, but then an entire animated feature all made with computers. It was groundbreaking, and now these days that stuff is, God, we play video games that have better graphics than that. It's kind of insane. But those are the movies. Any thoughts on any of those before I throw a cheese out here?
When Toy Story came out, I couldn't even yet ride a bike.
You still can't ride a bike, I heard. Oh no, you can't pilot a ship.
No,
Never mind.
I'm
I had that
good.
wrong.
But that's the thing.
Go.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to jump to cheese of the week then, if we're doing that. This week's cheese of the week is going to be pepper jack cheese. I did Monterey Jack one time, but I never did. I wanted to do some pepper jack cheese. All that is Monterey Jack with some peppers and herbs in it. Typically, there's some jalapeno in it, or if you're, cultured like me, jalapenos. It has a little bit of heat to it. It melts good. It's great on a cheeseburger, great on anything. It's just good. Eat some of it. Stay cheesy, everybody.
Good cheese.
Mm-hmm. Trax? Did he die?
Oh, I'm sorry. I muted myself. I got so excited about the cheese.
My God.
I just didn't want to miss a word.
Of genius things, I bet.
He was having a cheesegasm.
No, it was just me fumbling about how do I end this show. Thank you, everyone.
He's like, Chig is talking again.
Thanks for listening.
How do I end this?
Thank you all for joining me tonight on the Loose Screws podcast, the loosest and screwiest podcast in the entire galaxy. this has been a lot of fun, and thanks everyone for listening. Of course, you can find us on Discord. The easiest way to find Discord, because I do not know the link that I can just read, is by going to loosescrewsed.com. And there you will find links and a few pretty pictures and stuff like that, so that you can get in touch with us. Join us in Discord. Tell us that you just bought the game on Epic Store and you're a first-time commander, because we would love to chat to somebody we love chatting to people who just got into the game. Finding a community is the best thing. And you're halfway there if you've already found the podcast. So thanks a lot.
I just want to mention one other thing. I don't know. Yeah. We didn't tell our people. You were on Flight Assist last week. People need to go listen to that.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to brag about it, but...
Well, no, it dawned on me right there. Oh, my God. He was on Flight Assist with Mal and Psychit, Mal for the Win and Psychit, and he did a really shitty job, but I would still go... I'm just kidding.
Garbage.
You came off great.
You
bad. You talked about being nervous and stuff, but you did really good. It was a great interview. Congratulations. And so everybody go check that out. Flight Assist is a great podcast.
The thing that's weird about it is that, like, I've been on mic. I can be on mic whenever, but that it was like kind of about me. At least that's sort of like the way it's presented. I mean,
that's
for me,
the premise of the show.
Yeah, I know, but that's what felt like. Oh, geez, it's all, you know. But ultimately, it's about how I get on with the game, which is to say, it's really about the community. So, I was pretty happy with it. I love those guys. I love the show, and it was really exciting to chat with them. So, yeah,
good.
Thanks.
Yay!
Cool.
All right. That's the story. Go eat some cheese. Go watch some movies. Go play some Elite, and try to fly screwy. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Later.